Hey guys, this is Blue. So I just logged into the game quickly to see if anything new has been released because it has been 2 weeks since the end of Act 6, so of course we're all curious. And the bad news is there is nothing. So you go into the story, right? You just hit the end of Act 6. There's nothing else, right? Special missions, nothing new has arrived. They did reset Fog because they change out the Fog of War bosses every week, but that's it. Daily missions, the new arena started, nothing new, right? So there's no new special missions like time slides or spotlights. There's no gauntlet style missions. There's no LOC style missions. There is no new content. There is, however, one update that might be of interest, which is that Nemesis and Necro have been added to the store, so you can get the lower tier versions of them in order to finish forging them up. So they did do this, and this was nice to see. That's the good news. The bad news is there's no new content. Now, here's the thing. The fact that there's no new content is a concern. It is a red flag. However, we have to bear in mind that we can't assume that just because they release content on a schedule before, that if they are going to release new content, it would come on the exact same schedule after the story. I see a lot of people being very cynical about this on Discord and stuff. Just because they released story missions every 2 weeks does not mean that the exact same thing would happen afterwards. There is no indication of that because we have no idea, because they don't communicate. So just because they didn't release something today does not mean that they will not release anything further. It could mean that, for sure. But it's entirely possible that they're still planning things. It's not ready yet. We could get more content next week or the week after. Regardless of that, it is concerning. And the fact is that they have a short time frame here because people are not going to wait around forever. I mean, I've heard just in the past week from a few friends, legends of the game who have retired or are planning to soon. People might wait around a little bit, but they're not going to wait long. So if we get another few weeks from now, if we get to a month after Act 6 and there's no new content, that's going to be a really bad sign. And the thing is that this game simply will not be sustainable if there is nothing new to keep people engaged, and I want this game to survive. I mean, regardless of how long it literally stays live, if Netflix is just going to do this thing where there's just nothing new, you do AMs, you do the Sunday mission, maybe you do a raid every now and then, but that's it. If that's all it's going to be, then the game will not be sustainable because large numbers of people will leave, which will be a brutal hit given the fact that the player base is already so small. So I think the next few weeks will be crucial. Okay. As for myself, I've said before, I am sticking around for now. I'm going to keep doing AMs and I'll, forge up a couple bots on Sunday for fun. But I need to see what happens just like everybody else. I would like to keep playing, at least with one account. I do run a few accounts, but I want to at least keep going with Blue. However, that will be entirely contingent upon what happens, right? If nothing new comes, then I may be effectively forced to, say, semi-retire, because this game ultimately is in large part about the camaraderie, playing with your friends, having fun with your friends. And if your friends leave, well, then it's just not going to be much fun anymore. So we're just going to have to see what happens. That's the approach that I'm taking. But like I said, players are not going to have a whole lot of patience, nor should they. So I really want to see what happens over the next couple of weeks, because if the game is just like this, where there's quite literally nothing to do between AMs, really, then there's just no way that this game can survive in any functional way. A lot of people will leave, and I really don't want that to happen. So that's where we are, guys. You can buy Nemesis and Necro in the lower tier versions. You can get them up to Forge 100. That'll be something to do if you've been working on them. But there's no new content as of today, 2 weeks post Act 6. So we could get content in 3 days or 3 weeks. We have no idea. Or we could get nothing at all. And since we all know that Netflix has chosen not to communicate in any way, shape, or form, unfortunately, the only choice we have is to play the waiting game. So I will obviously keep an eye on it. I'll update you guys again in a couple weeks. Hopefully there will be good news by then. If there's not, I will update you and, just kind of let you know my thoughts at that time. So let me know how you guys are doing. Are you still playing? Are you holding out hope? Are you going to keep going for a while to see what happens? Are you going to say screw it and leave? I'm curious to hear what you guys are thinking because the game is already in a very fragile state, and the longer we go without any new content, the more into a state of decline the game will become, regardless of how long it stays live. So let's hope for the best, guys. That's all we can do, and we will be in touch again soon. Take care.